The Board of Governors and the Academic Board of the University of Chichester has resolved to confer an Honorary Doctor of Psychology upon Professor Robin Banerjee. In presenting this award today, we recognize the lifelong accomplishments of an ongoing career dedicated to kindness, excellence, and courage. Professor Robin Banerjee, often dubbed as Professor Kindness by his colleagues, is Professor of Developmental Psychology and the inaugural Pro-Vice Chancellor for Global and Civic Engagement at the University of Sussex. In his role as Pro-Vice Chancellor, he leads the strategic work on local and global engagement. Formerly head of psychology, Robin has led his team through a period of rapid growth despite a global pandemic. Robin's leadership is described as kind leadership. His unwavering enthusiasm strengthens growth in every member of his team. His leadership emphasizes on empathy, respect, and collaboration. Robin's pioneering research focuses on social and emotional development of children and young people, on their mental health and well-being. Robin has led numerous projects aimed at evaluating school-based interventions that enhance emotional and social functioning in children. His work has influenced educational practices in schools. His groundbreaking research has propelled the shift in perspective in psychology from a deficit model that emphasized identifying individuals with problems to a more strengths-based model that focuses on how the socio-relational context can support mental health and well-being for all. As Robin puts it, mental health and well-being is not about fixing the individuals, but it needs to be understood from a relational ecology. Robin works closely with practitioners and policymakers in the areas of education and mental health. Professor Banerjee is a firm advocate for the transformative impact of research and actively participates in various government panels to shape and influence broader societal outcomes. He's currently an expert advisor for counselling in primary schools at the Department of Education in Ireland. Robin has previously been on advisory panels for the government's Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport, and the Department for Education, to name a few. Robin's research has created real-life impact across multiple academic and applied domains. For example, the whole school approach funded by the National Institute of Health and Care Research and Applied Research Collaboration, where Robin led a project where organizations co-developed and co-designed a toolkit to allow educational institutions to reflect regularly on mental health support and provision in schools and colleges and track their impact on key outcomes. Following his innovative project in schools and colleges, they can now self-assess, track their data over time, develop their work, and make any adjustments where needed based on the progress. Robin founded the Sussex Centre for Research on Kindness, an interdisciplinary research centre focused on illuminating the nature of kindness and its impact on people and communities. Robin has led the world's largest ever public science project on kindness, the Kindness Test, in partnership with the BBC. More than 60,000 participants took part in the study. Having recently concluded their first independent research project, I'm confident our graduates will be able to fully appreciate the scale of that study and the significance of its findings. Professor Banerjee's contributions to the advancement of psychology extends beyond his own research. He has also impacted the field of psychology through mentoring and fostering growth of future social scientists. Through his wisdom and encouragement, Robin continues to impact the academic and personal success of many colleagues and students, fostering an environment where excellence is both nurtured and achieved. His guidance has empowered countless budding psychologists to realize their full potential, some of whom are here on the stage today. Every aspect of Professor Banerjee's work reflects a personal drive to foster well-being among children and young people across the community widely. The impact of Professor Banerjee's research on social relationships and kindness resonates with the University of Chichester's access and outreach mission of inclusivity and engagement. Chair of Governors, I present to you Professor Robin Banerjee for an Honorary Doctor of Psychology of the University of Chichester.
Wow, what an incredible honour. Thank you so much. Chair of Governors, Vice-Chancellor, distinguished guests, staff, parents, carers, other family members, and other supporters, and most importantly, all of you who are graduating today. It is truly, truly an honour to receive this degree and have this opportunity to address you in this awe-inspiring setting on this very special day. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. Moitri, thank you so much for your warm and generous citation. I have to say, it is a wonderful illustration of your own incredible kindness, which I know so many people here today will have experienced out there and here on the stage as well. To be honest, I'm slightly overwhelmed at this prospect of speaking to you now on this stage because, you know, I don't really feel at all qualified to offer you any words of wisdom. I suspect I've got so much more to learn from all of you than you have from me. You know, we're all just living our lives, figuring things out as we go, navigating our way through our lives, sometimes finding successes to celebrate, like you all have today, and other times, let's face it, making some big mistakes. I know I have. And that's true for every single one of us. I'm sure it's true for every one of us on the stage as well, right? But I thought what I might do is share with you a few thoughts on things that I kind of remind myself about. And maybe they'll be of interest and help to you. To be honest, I suspect you know all of these things, but sometimes it's good to be reminded of them. Or you might disagree with me entirely, which is absolutely fine as well. I won't take any offense from that. So here's my first reminder. Moitri, you talked about the work that I did with the BBC on the kindness test and the research centre that I founded. Something I've learned from that work on kindness, which I try to remind myself about all the time, is that the small things matter a lot. When we conducted that BBC project on kindness, we asked people about the acts of kindness that they had last experienced, just short descriptions, and we got tens of thousands of little examples of kindness. And yes, some of them were amazing. Examples of heroic, huge acts of generosity, altruism, self-sacrifice, people really going above and beyond, doing incredible things. But you know what? The vast majority were really small things. I've taken a few from that database. These are all quotes. A hug, a cup of tea, holding open a door, being thanked, being complimented. The checkout assistant smiled at me. My son bought me my favorite flapjack. My manager complimented me. Someone went out of their way to give me helpful directions, and they were a total stranger. Well, I like this one as well. A friend gave me half a sandwich. Not the whole sandwich. I love reading this list. It never fails to lift me up. Maybe it's something about affirming our faith in humanity. But you know what? When you listen to those things, it's easy to feel like those things don't really count. Well, that's not really a big deal. They don't even count as kindness, do they? Isn't it just about being polite, being nice? But you know what? I think it does matter. Because I want you to imagine a world without any of those things. What would that be like? I don't think it'd feel very kind, would it? And what I feel sure about is that the small things are what glue us together as human beings. Those small things really matter. And that's reinforced by everything I've learned from my research over the years into mental health, with children and teenagers in schools, when I'm at work interacting with students, staff, visitors to the university, and when I'm with my amazing wife, my own children, my extended family, and my friends. The small stuff I keep finding out is actually the big stuff. And I think we all need to remind ourselves of that. So don't take it for granted. That small stuff is like a treasure. It's a treasure we can easily find in others and in ourselves as well, all around us, all of the time. Wherever you find yourself, whichever group you're in, whatever setting you find yourself in, make sure you notice those small things. Make sure you really notice it and love it and share it and celebrate it and grow it. But you don't need me to tell you that sometimes that's hard. It's hard to see that stuff sometimes, because quite often in life other people do things to us that feel deeply unkind. And other times we can be deeply unkind to ourselves, can't we? We can be really tough on ourselves, especially when we feel like we should be doing better. And the thing that's helped me get through the difficult times is something else I try to remind myself about, and that's knowing that there is always another story. So don't be too quick to judge. Judge others or judge yourself, for that matter. And I think I've learned a lot about that from my own international upbringing, as well as from psychology, and indeed coming to university, like you were saying, Jane. You know, the stories we tell ourselves are incredibly powerful. And sometimes we tell different stories about ourselves than we do about other people. And those imagined stories about what's going on make such a difference to how we feel and how we think. We can end up being really hard on ourselves when we would never form those interpretations about someone else in that same situation. And sometimes we can be really hard on other people when we know that if we were doing the same thing, we'd have a totally different explanation for it. My point here is not that there's a single correct interpretation that you've just got to find. My point is that very often you just don't know. And what I try to remember, and what I'd encourage all of you to do as well, is just hold on to the fact that there are different stories. So be curious and be caring about other people's experiences. Don't assume. Listen and learn from each other. Other people have had their own journeys. They've had their own upbringing, their own perspectives. They might not see the world in the way that you do. They've had their own successes, and they've had their own tragedies, their own fears, their own worries, and their own ambitions about where they want to go. And apply that to yourself too. Give yourselves a break. Don't make assumptions about how you're measuring up to some imagined standard. Because no matter how tough things are, we need to remember there is always another story to tell. Whatever's going on right now, and also about what's going on in the future, how that story is going to play out in the future. And I always try to take a hopeful approach to those stories, right? I think you probably know that quote, everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And what a beautiful example we have of that right here, right now, here in this amazing setting, today, for your graduation. I know that for many of you, it might have been a tough journey. You might have had to overcome quite a lot of hurdles, maybe even some real tragedies along the way, small or big. But here you are on this occasion, celebrating this amazing, amazing day. Looking ahead to whatever comes next. Who knows what that will be? We have no idea. We don't really know what life's going to throw at us. But that is okay. No matter what life throws at you, no matter what life throws at your loved ones, your family, I know that each and every one of you, with the skills, knowledge, and personal qualities that you've developed here, you're going to be able to write and live your own story. And it's going to be an amazing story. So, congratulations, everyone. You've done absolutely brilliantly, all of you. Thank you again to the University of Chichester for this incredible honour. And I wish you all the very, very best. Thank you.